What a day. Ramtin, my friend, my fellow baller. How are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Thanks for coming. So much we could talk about, but let's give the audience what they want. My buddy, Ramtin, we've been playing the football for a long time now.
Yeah.
Many moons. Mm-hmm. And I've watched you grow. And I've told you this many times, but I'm very proud of you. So for those that don't know, fellow footballer, which is like very dear to me. And then in addition to that, you're the coach at FPC, the JV coach, going into your third. And we'll cover this, but you are also heading up a new program for this area through Flagler Soccer.
Yeah.
Right?
Which we've already started.
You've already started it. So it's like an academy.
It's the academy part is like hasn't really gone to plan, but the 11v11 team that we've done, which is club soccer at the cheapest price you can get.
Right.
Has already started. We've already played 2 games actually.
Okay.
So it's like if you go look at the club prices around here, it's like for a season, it's like $200 a month,
right?
Something like that, or like $2,500 a year. These kids, they play club team. We play Stetson, Nate Monsanto. He's the head coach of that team, and then we play Jacksonville Armada, which is like a huge club in Jacksonville.
Okay.
We beat them 6-0 this last weekend. Actually.
Nice, man.
And we have like the 7v7, which is the high school kids in the same thing, the same format as the adult league, has 40 plus kids, and then the 11v11 has 18 plus.
So. I love it. Well, like I said, I really am. You had no idea what I was going to talk to you about today, excluding the fact of this beautiful sport that we consider a lifestyle. You are one of the rare guys out on that pitch that I've known for a hot minute that take this sport as a lifestyle. A, B, there's a few people that I'm hoping, I really mean this, take where I leave off, because I've put my life into this sport out here, and it's a very unnurtured sport. It's very hard to get field space, very hard to get lights.
Yep.
Very hard to get people to show up. And for the last, my whole life, basically, have nurtured the sport. And we've got a wonderful family now. I think we're at a point where when we go and play, we got great guys. We've known each other now for many moons. And you're one of the few, man, and I mean this, I've told you this before. You're one of the few that has the material and the kind of the background to become not only a captain, but obviously you're a coach now, but like it's babysitting amplified. And you know that. Yeah. And I'm hoping, and I will continue to do it with you as long as I can. You pick up where I leave off.
Yeah.
I've told you that.
Yeah.
You think you're going to handle it?
I got it.
Good. But let's talk about where's Ramtin right now, and what's something that I can help you spread the message, the word? Because we could go anywhere with the show. We could talk about your background. We could talk about where you're headed. But I think what's most interesting about this is the first time this show would be like really concentrated on our lifestyle.
Exactly.
We eat, breathe, sleep. Yes. So
I feel like you bring it up in every podcast. You try to slip it in there.
I do
every once in a while. But I don't know. I guess soccer in Palm Coast isn't where it should be. But I feel like pickup helps with that. Because I'll be honest, I played club for almost my whole life. I played high school soccer. Mm-hmm. But some of the best players that I found in Palm Coast were not in none of those. Right. It was at pickup. Like Javi, Rico, like those guys just never got the opportunity to show how good they were. Right. But when it comes to pickup, that's where they show everybody.
Right.
And thanks to you, they've been able to showcase their talent and skill, and then they finally come play adult league and they wreck all of us.
Right.
So.
It's a good point, man. It's funny because me growing up here my whole life, my friends that are around my age, they'll kid with me and they're like, "What do you got? Where do you get these kids from?" And I say it's an honor because the guys that are playing on my Monday team, it's literally an honor that they even want to play for me because I don't really know them. I've known of them, but I don't have much of a relationship with them off the pitch. It's happening by consequence of playing. But we have such quality here. So underrated, meaning like just not seen, it's not known. And I always joke around that if we were to make an 11, a full squad, like we took everybody. We took Alex's team. Are you starting a team?
I joined a team. I'm not starting my own team.
I was going to get you, but I think it's good. I was telling some of my guys on my team, like we were going to pick you up, but you're that quality of, once again, that player that not just on the pitch, but you have leadership skills. So it's better for the league, even though I'd rather have you. Yeah. It's better for the league to have someone that's going to at least bring that, that energy and that. Who are you playing with?
Right now, it's a combination of the best players from PC Hustlers and the best players from Ball Handlers put into one team.
I see.
Yeah.
Who is the capitán?
It's technically this guy named Pete on my team, but Luke is like running the whole thing.
Okay. It's going to be a good squad.
Yeah. We're going to be really good.
Well, I'm afraid, though, on Sundays, they're playing in
with John.
No.
Oh, no, De Leon Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope the Monday league stays.
I used to play in De Leon Springs. I just didn't want to go anymore because I started getting hurt.
Yeah.
And they some of those guys kill you out there.
It's a full 11.
I know. Yeah.
16 teams?
Yeah.
That's what Juan was telling me.
I used to play there when I was like 17, and my team was like, we were stacked. So I joined a team myself. I joined Mikey's team, and me and Mikey went out there the first week, and we were not very good. After that, the coach was like, bring your own players in. I was like, all right, we'll bring our own players. We brought me, Smitty, Julio, Mikey, Pablo. The guys on our team that were originally there got so mad, just left.
Right.
And we came second, but then we could have won the league, but that was at the time where we had to go back to club soccer, so we stopped going.
Right. And
they ended up dropping down. But we used to score 6-7 goals a game.
So do you think you're going to be able to that is it's funny, this show might not be for everyone because it's going to be football, but I agree with you. You remember Eddie Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's doing a hell of a job at running his training in Orlando and doing his thing. But soccer here has always just been kind of this forgotten, not even forgotten. It's never really been nurtured. And I really am hoping that you move into this. So like what's the ecosystem in the soccer world in the high school realm right now? Do people care? Do you have a squad? Do you have a decent squad? There just seems to be.
I will say the talent is not as it used to be. Like when I played high school, it was like we had all the Haitians, we had Nate Monsanto, all these guys. Stanley plays for the Haitian national team. Nate played D1 soccer. Like we don't have that talent, but we have guys that want to play.
Okay.
And if you can, even if they're just an athlete, you can turn them into a soccer player.
Right.
It's just getting guys committed to play soccer. Like back then, we just had talent. Those guys that didn't care, but because we were so good, we just overshadowed the guys that didn't care.
Right.
Now we have guys that care, just aren't as talented as they used to be. But you can still work with that. The problem is if you don't have a coach that can make a player progress, you're not going to get anywhere. But the good thing about Coach Stone and I is we notice every little bump in the road. We're like, oh, this guy needs to work on this. This guy needs to work on that. And then you teach them that through the whole season. And the last 2 years, FPC, we have not been good.
Okay.
Then this year we were decent. We beat Matanzas for the first time since 2012. We beat DeLand for the first time.
Would you say Matanzas is a better squad in general, or we just what a wonderful rivalry? I didn't get to grow up with that. Yeah, Matanzas didn't exist, so we didn't have.
Are they a better squad? I don't know. They have players that I think are better than some of our players, and we have players better than them. Because I coach some of those guys in the 11v11, and some of those Matanzas guys, they're such a pleasure to coach. They're really good. But it's I wish if there wasn't Matanzas, if you put those guys together, we would be so good.
Yeah.
It's just because you.
How often do they meet? What is it, twice a season?
Twice. Last year, my JV team played them twice because we played them in a tournament, and then varsity only played them once. But this year, we're on our schedule. We're playing them twice. You
got a pretty cool-headed team, or are there a bunch of?
There's some of those guys that you have to constantly tell them yo, calm down, man.
Calm down.
And then there's guys that you have to watch everything they do because their attitude, mainly the attitude.
A lot of Diego Costas out there.
I wouldn't say it's getting mad. It's more of an ego attitude.
Okay.
Diego Costa is a hothead.
Right.
We have more ego-driven guys. Oh, I'm on. This is the one thing that I've always said. Playing varsity soccer is not that big of an accomplishment because I can go to schools in the area that aren't that good that have varsity teams and make their varsity team. Just because I made varsity doesn't mean I'm a good soccer player.
Right.
It's the ego-driven. But here, because soccer is not as popular as in other parts of Florida, if I go to Jacksonville, all those Jacksonville schools, it's so hard to get onto their varsity teams.
Right.
Here, because we don't have the kind of talent as some of the other places, if you make varsity, it's this huge thing that everyone thinks oh, I gotta play varsity. That's not only in soccer though; it's almost in every sport.
Right. The
football players are like that. The basketball players are like that. But you just gotta make sure you gotta bring them down a pedal. Or some of these guys are they won't accept the pass to certain players because they're not as good as they are.
Right.
You just gotta fix that.
What do you see in the football world right now? Do you see, because when I was growing up, there was more of a diversity, and defenders love to be defenders, mids love to be mids, forwards were forwards. I've noticed more of course, I don't get to see the competitive nature from a league perspective anymore, but from a pickup perspective and our little adult league that we have, it seems that the defensive side of things, like no one likes to be there's no more. I'm finding it more and more rare to find a natural born defender.
Yeah,
is that happening in the system that you're seeing? Are you seeing more people? Or is everyone wants to be a Neymar? Or everybody wants to be a Ronaldo?
I will say the one thing that both Matanzas and FPC are lacking are defenders, but that's not because everyone wants to be a Neymar. It's just that there's no one that actually knows how to properly defend.
Right.
Like Lewis, we had to throw Lewis at center back. Because he actually knows how to defend. He's a forward. He's one of the fastest kids I've ever played with. But we had to put him in the back because he knows how to defend. We know that he's going to be this guy jumps insanely high. He wins every header. We know that if we get beat over the top, that he's going to be able to catch someone because of his speed.
What do you think his position is naturally in his DNA?
Winger. Yeah.
Left or right?
Left.
Interesting. I have him,
Yeah, I know. He told me yesterday. We were on the way to indoor. He's like, yeah, I'm playing adult league next season. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, with Chenzo. I was like, oh my.
I got him. Well, I lost Dakota.
Yeah, because he's going to
big loss.
Yeah,
it's a big. Dakota counts as like 5 people.
Yeah.
So I'm losing him, and I had to pick up somebody of equal, if not, so hopefully lose. But yeah, I've noticed that too, man. It doesn't, even when we're playing pickups now, people that are on my squad, when I pick, I already know who I'm picking for they already know their job. I don't have to say like play this position, but. It is, man. It's sad that, and it could be, as we're watching this, it could be a byproduct of the commercialization of the Puyos and the PKs and the even the new guy. I always forget his name, but the new guy in Liverpool who I love,
Van Dijk.
Oh man, those guys are not commercialized. Like you're not going to see that today in the lineup today. You had Martial versus Messi.
Yeah.
That's like the big lineup.
Yeah,
you're not going to see. You're not going to see the defenders, and I understand that, and it's never really been that way, I would imagine, but. I'm hoping as the sport continues to evolve here is that it's all positions are absolutely imperative, especially when we're playing this small side.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like what do you think your go-to defense, like your go-to positioning for a 7-a-side?
My position?
Yeah. What do you like?
In the midfield. I don't
No, your formation.
3-2-1.
Yeah.
I would never play with more than one forward. I would never play less than 2 defenders unless we're losing. Because there was times where we were losing, and I would try to tell the people I was playing with, I'm like, we're losing. We have nothing to lose now. Let's put 2 or 1 defender in the back and put more people up top. But like, I don't understand. So like, we try to make up for the lack of defenders by throwing more bodies in the back.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to defend, it's not going to work.
Right.
Like with your squad, everyone on your squad knows that you're a defender, and you're only going to play defender. You just throw someone back there with you. And then you throw Josh up top, Dakota, Javi, and Rico in the middle. Yeah. And you're fine. And you and Roman are actual defenders.
Right.
So that's all you got to worry about. Well, with my squad, we didn't have actual defenders or people that knew how to defend. So we're like, we're just going to throw 3 players in the back. But
what's your natural born position? Because I can use you. When we play that tournament, and I've played with you a handful of times, but I've played against you more than I've played with you.
Yeah.
What's your...
I'm usually a winger. But in the 7v7, I like to play in midfield because I don't like playing with my back to the goal.
Okay. And
I don't like to be so far back. The midfield, that way I can come to the center backs or whoever's playing in the back, get the ball, turn and go. But I hate playing forward in 7v7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love playing you as either my D, which once again, D on this. I have a whole issue with this soccer scene out here to begin with. I don't know who made this 6v6s and 7v6s. I know it's easier because it's hard to get a full 11.
Yeah.
But these numbers are so weird. It's you go to any other country and you set up a 7v7, they're going to be like, what in the world are you doing?
Yeah.
This isn't. But yeah, it's an interesting, that was really fun with that tournament. I liked having you.
Yeah. And I played defender in that tournament most of the time.
Yeah.
Except for when we played.
We put you in the mid sometime.
Yeah.
But once again, that's another byproduct of you can definitely get hot-headed. You got a little Diego Costa in you, for sure. But
I know that.
But the problem is that those – see, you respect me. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I say jump, you say how high, which is I respect out of you for doing that. Yeah. But you got a little –
when I get mad, it's more getting mad at myself.
Yeah.
Or getting mad at the situation. I don't get mad at certain players or at the game. But like before, when I was in high school, I used to get mad at everything. I used to get mad at the referees. I used to get mad at my teammates. Now it's just more getting mad at myself and how the game is going. Like if we're losing, I'm like, geez, like we could do like, I remember I think we were playing you guys. And I wasn't mad, like, because I knew that we weren't.
What, your PCS team?
Yeah, I knew we weren't going to win. I was like, I told him at halftime, I was like, guys, like, do you guys watch how they play? Like, they actually pass the ball. And then one of the players responded. He's like, dude, you're doing nothing. I was like, that's not what I said. I said, do you watch how they play? And me and him will start going at it. But like, I wasn't mad. But when stuff like that happens, I'll get mad.
But out of love, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And even though we're on a show, I don't really care. This is all football.
Yeah.
You're going to, and we all have areas that we can get, I'm still growing as a player, but you're going to become, you're a leader. And I have this happen a lot. Not everybody is born to be a leader on the pitch.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to be. It's not even actually a good thing. It's a pain in the ass. To be a leader on the pitch is one of the most, it's tough. It takes more than you even playing. Sometimes I look back, since I've known my wife, I've played, and I've usually been managing 2 teams on any given week. It's taxing mentally. You're thinking about Monday's game, the Monday prior, the formation. And of course, maybe some people laugh because it's not the World Cup, but to me, it is. I know that I knew the minute I left basically high school that all I had was my backyard. So I take it very seriously. Not to the point where I ever kill anybody. You've played with me for many years.
Yeah.
I would never hurt anybody, but meaning I take that game serious. As soon as that whistle blows, nothing else matters. Isn't it a beautiful thing? And it shouldn't. If those that you do play and you are worrying about your job or this I don't think most people do. I've never been on the pitch. All of us. Isn't it funny? As we've gotten older, I've had some people that are like, oh, so-and-so, like personally, like their opinions. And I'm like, bro, I have no idea. I have no clue. For the longest time, I think Nelson and I had played probably 5+ years together, twice a week for years. And people would say, oh, what Nelson does, X, Y, Z. And I'm like, no, we don't know. Like it's a family out there. Yeah. And we don't talk politics. Yeah. We don't talk. And that's what I think the most beautiful thing about, and I hope, I've only played this sport, but I would imagine that happens with a lot of sports, what brings people together. But I'm hoping, like with this Flagler, so it's called Flagler, what is it, your academy?
The 11v11?
Yeah.
It's just called Flagler Soccer Select.
I love it.
Which is the best player.
But Bobby and Gavin, who head up Flagler Soccer, are letting you kind of do it through them. And
they're completely in charge, like in terms of directing and collecting money. And my job is just there to coach.
I'm just to coach. That's where your heart's at, huh?
Yeah.
And you help ref. I mean, you're all about it.
I helped the over 30. And then I'm glad I didn't help the semifinal. The one time I didn't ref, those 2 fights on both fields. I'm glad I didn't do that.
I didn't get to see it. I was playing. I heard it.
Yeah.
Heard the ruckus.
It was what my dad told me and what Gavin texted me didn't sound too pretty. It's
pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Which doesn't belong out there.
Yeah.
We've had maybe at all the years, like close to 15+ years of playing out there, even Basel days back in the day. I mean, honestly, probably less than 5, like speaking with the fists. I mean, granted, there's always a scuffle here and there, but to actually go at it.
What are we, season 5 approaching now?
We will be going into season 5.
I've seen 1 red card.
Yeah.
And that was to Tyler.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Against you guys.
Oh.
Him and Nelson went at it.
Oh,
and then he showed up like 2 weeks later and he was perfectly fine. It's just like, this is a misunderstanding.
I feel like those are some people that bring life on the pitch. They bring their issues on the pitch, and it doesn't belong. He was grumpy.
Yeah.
And I told him that. I had even said when in the middle of the game, I was like yelling. I'm like, I've known you for so long. I've never seen this ever. Yeah. Like, don't bring that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm hoping. I don't have that many more of me, man. Nelson's going down to 1 a week. He's not even going to be he's not going to be my keeper next season.
For Monday or over 30?
For Mondays.
So who are you getting?
Things are changing. Can't tell you. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't even know who he is. Corey got him. So if Corey vouches for him, I'm good. It's funny. Yeah. I don't know who's listening to this for this day, but this is this is our life.
Yeah.
So yeah, Corey, I got a new keeper coming. Nelson can only play 1 day a week. And dude, my heart goes out to all those guys that are doing like in a construction type of work, and they're out there and then they come and play.
Mikey, so we play on Tuesdays in St. Augustine. Mikey goes to work at like 8, gets off at 6, drives to St. Augustine for a game at 7.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
And we play with no subs.
Yeah.
My team has no subs. Yesterday, we started the game with 3 players on the field because it's 7v7.
Right.
It was.
And that's the thing about this adulting world. As we get older, the sport is hard. Until I hope it happens in your lifetime. Well, I guess you're close enough to where if it does, I'll get to experience it too. But we may be way, way, way out before like today. Think about it. Barcelona versus Manchester United.
Yeah.
Think about the scene in London right now.
Crazy. You won't be able to get that here.
No. Well, let's hope.
Well, if you could probably find it, it just won't be as a big of a community as other places.
I think once again, it may not be in this lifetime, maybe another 100 years out, but I hope that, and I guess we're biased because it's soccer, but it becomes a lifestyle. It runs. I mean, I can't imagine the amount of revenue that city is generating off of. Imagine the bars and the restaurants and even the public transportation system. It's amazing. I got a secret. I'm going to Barca, Man U, second leg in Barca. I'm freaking out. I just got them yesterday.
You better hope Barcelona win today.
I know. I almost was going to buy the tickets like contingent on today's game, but I was afraid if I waited and the skyrocket. Like, for instance, let's say Man U wins 2-0.
Yeah. Barcelona could probably come back from that, though.
No, but I'm saying that the attraction factor would be even better. Or vice versa. I was thinking, what if Barca wins 6-0 and everyone's like, I don't want to go to the game and the ticket prices crashed. So I just got them. I couldn't wait. So I'm going. I'm freaking out.
That's a pretty cool experience. I've been to a couple games here. That's probably you're never going to get the same experience by actually going there. Like, I remember when I was super young. I watched Argentina versus USA when Messi was 18 years old. And he played so bad.
It was a real one?
It was a friendly game.
Okay, but still.
And
you mean bad is good? Is it good? Or he played horrible?
Played horrible. He got taken off at halftime.
Really?
He was only 18.
Shaggy Messi.
Yeah, and he was like, I remember him kept trying to do too much. That was the only problem at that time. He kept trying to do too much. But then there was players that you watched that really impressed me. Like Tevez played. He was super good. Kereme played in that game. He was super good. And then I've watched I remember I went to a Copa America game when it was here in the United States. And
you went to a real okay.
That game actually counted. But
who'd you see?
I watched, it was Bolivia and Panama.
Ooh.
And you wouldn't think those teams would be.
No, yeah.
I remember Panama scored with like 10 minutes left to go in the game, and the amount of people from Panama in the stadium was crazy. And the person I went with,
where did you see it? In Orlando?
It was in Orlando. And like you wouldn't think it's the same because Bolivia, Panama, but those guys are as crazy as anybody else.
Yeah, man, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Anytime you see something it's tough because I brought my grandfather to see back in the day in Miami. I forget the name of the tournament. It wasn't even a tournament. It was like a charity event where they brought in. I saw like everyone from with Messi was there, Falcao, Drogba. It was like a bunch of people against a bunch of other people, and it was awesome to see them. And it was also cool because they like did a lot of warming ups and hanging out, and like you could see them up close. But it wasn't a real game. Yeah. But even that, I mean, I remember looking over like here, like we're in the stadium, we're in the Miami Stadium, the Miami Dolphin Stadium, and like the guys are coming out. And it wasn't this organized really event where like they both came out of the tunnel at the same time. People were just like coming up and warming up.
Yeah.
And Messi comes walking out, dude. And I looked over to my grandfather and he's just weeping, good weeping, not like, and I couldn't, and I am too. And I don't know, it sounds so fanatical because it's like, it's just a guy, but I couldn't explain it to somebody that doesn't understand it. And it's not even just like a Messi thing. It's just this like magic. It's this magic of being in the midst of that kind of greatness. And those that understand it, those kind of guys are just, I think we're in an era right now that we might not see this kind of quality for a hot minute.
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
We were talking about like, Mbappe, but like if you've been watching, Mbappe had his great World Cup.
Yeah.
But he's kind of like started falling off.
Mbappe, Juan and I have been not arguing.
The Mbappe right now I don't like because he's starting to do things like he's getting sent off, diving, like things like that is what's going to make him get drowned out.
See what Pele said? He could score 1,000 goals in his career. Pele just said that. But of course,
I mean, he started super young, so probably. But I guess like again, there's other players that are I feel like equally as good as Mbappe.
Who?
I'll say Rashford could equally be as good as Mbappe.
Can't disagree with you there.
But
is Martial and Rashford the same age?
I think Martial is a year older.
But I always get them confused because they play similar, kind of look similar on the same team, obviously. But I agree with you. And he needs to get out of Man U, though.
Yeah. And then there's players like that on smaller clubs like Dortmund, like Jadon Sancho. I'm pretty sure he's younger than Mbappe or the same age, and he's super, super good.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that in other positions that obviously aren't going to get recognized. Like for Liverpool, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's younger than me.
Right.
and he's played in the Champions League final already, played in the World Cup. It's just that because he plays for England,
right,
he's not going to a World Cup final.
There was somebody I was watching recently who was balling out, and I forget what it was, but there's so many unknown ballers in the EPL that are like straight up forwards. One of them, I think, he plays for, it may even be the Nigerian national team, and bro, he's a lightning bolt, and his quality is fantastic. But see, just like with any sport, I'm sure what sells the jerseys, what sells the tickets, they're going to get, and Neymar brought the attraction to PSG. Not that it's PSG, so they already had the attraction, the Cavani, and they didn't, but Neymar was this added, and then Michael Jordan's Nike endorsement that was, but yeah, it's, who knows? We've had this conversation before amongst us as footballers, like, what does that kind of money do when you're 19, 18 years old? Yeah. And you're making 293 million.
That's the one thing I say about like what's gonna drown out Mbappe is because of some of the stuff that he does. Like he's getting like caught into the fame. Like I mentioned Trent Alexander-Arnold, he still lives with his mom. Yeah. He was with his mom and got called up for the England squad for the World Cup. Went to the Champions League final. The next day was at his mom's house. Yeah. Mbappe now he's getting all these cars. Like that's the stuff that's gonna make him get forgotten. He needs to just stick to soccer, especially at such a young age. Like Messi, I don't ever remember Messi doing anything like that. He just played soccer.
Well, even if he does, he's a very private guy. Yeah. He's known amongst the community. Even digitally, he's not like, even the photos he does, it sounds so tacky, but I mean, I follow most of these guys on Instagram just to like, wow. And it's funny, like he's just posting photos of him and his dog. And I'm sure that's not even him. That's his publicist making him do that because it's like,
or him and his kids, something like that. But then you have like Ronaldo over here, like him and his clothing line.
You know what though? I have to tell you, there has been a very big difference of opinion I've had over Ronaldo in the last year or two. He was always, obviously I didn't like when people made the Ronaldo Messi debate. I hated that. Like you had to pick one. They're both amazing footballers.
Enjoy them while they're here.
My grandfather and I are really upset recently with the overall character that seems to be coming through Messi on the pitch. Yeah. So look at Messi from a national standpoint, national team. Yeah. I have a belief. Here's my theory. I could be wrong. I have a theory that Messi is running the national team. I don't see how a guy like Messi can be on it.
He carries them on his back.
Well, no, not just that. I have a theory that he makes the
decisions.
He makes the decisions. Now, of course, that's not
be true. That could be true for Barcelona too.
100%. And it's not going to be online. Yeah. You're not going to see a post. I just feel like how do you tell Messi what to do when it comes to the national level?
How do you tell Messi no?
Correct. And now here's why. I have a feeling that Messi doesn't get along with Dybala. Messi, I know maybe could and can get along with Aguero, but why in the world the national team doesn't start those guys? Beyond me. You have the captain of Juventus, who's now been nurtured. Of course, I can understand maybe 2-3 years ago from a national perspective. It's like, okay, Dybala's just getting going. You don't start Dybala. Aguero's like there, but not there sometimes. He's coming in the 67th minute. Games that matter. And then the formation in general. But I could talk about that for
the reason I don't feel like he runs around, because I don't know if you watched the last couple of friendlies when Messi finally returned to the national team. Yeah. Did you see the squad that they put out there when they lost to Venezuela?
That was horrible.
It's some guys I've never even heard of. And I don't think Messi wants those guys.
I agree. Well, here's what I think. Why would Messi not say, Dybala, let's go, whether you want to or not, unless you're
But here, do you remember when Dybala got red carded?
Yes.
And Messi pretty much argued with the referee for 10 minutes. I really feel like it's the coaches that Argentina are ruining.
Once again, I have no I have no idea, but it just doesn't make any sense to me how you're not. So let's talk about this. When Ronaldo left to go to Juventus, that was some of the biggest news in all of football history, that he was leaving Real, going to Juve. What he's done recently in the Juve squad, it's like how when you travel, you're supposed to become part of the community. You don't go there being like, look at me. What Ronaldo's done he has become part of the Juve system and made it better. That's my opinion. Yeah. He's become part of this. He's got just as many goals as he has assists. I watch a lot of the behind the scenes training with him and Dybala and I'm like, I thought for sure Mandzukic and Ronaldo were going to be blood. They seem to be working. It's incredible. And what Ronaldo's done from a national perspective, taking them, man, he's a leader. And Messi's not a leader. And I opened that conversation.
He can be a leader when he wants to.
But he's not consistent.
I don't think that giving him the armband is the right choice. I feel like it should be someone like PK or someone that's been there or someone who.
Oh, on the Barca squad?
Yeah. Like, he's just someone that just because he impacts a game doesn't mean he's a leader.
Right.
And there's so many people like Maradona has said it. Messi's not a leader. He's a good soccer player, but he's not a leader.
Right.
Same thing with Argentina. Like, there's so much that he can do. Like, Argentina's losing 3-1. Obviously, you're going to rely on Messi. But if you're going to continue to rely on Messi, then he's no longer a leader. He's just there to save your ass.
Right.
So, like, giving him the armband, and I don't understand that. Like,
it is weird.
He hardly talks.
Yeah.
So you need someone that's loud. Like look at the captains from Barcelona in the past: Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol. Like those guys were always yelling, always talking. Messi doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He just plays.
I have here's my theory about Barcelona as a squad. Now, I'm a huge fan of them because of, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but because of the greats. As a club, I'm not like Barca I just like some of the great, like Puyol is literally my idol when it comes to how I wish I could play, how I want to be. I want to be a Puyol with a Pirlo together. Like that would be of course, that's just my idols. But as a squad, dude, I think they're about to get manhandled in the Champions League. I really do.
I actually said this because as a Liverpool standpoint, if whoever wins between Manchester City and Barcelona, I don't mind getting knocked out if it means Liverpool win the Premier League. So
what do you mean? Who get knocked out? Don't you like
Liverpool get knocked out? I'm okay with that, as long as it means that we win the Premier League. EPL, because that means now we have less games to concentrate on.
Right.
And I mean, I feel like Man City is about to get knocked out because they lost yesterday.
Yeah.
So if they win next game, now they're going to PKs because it's only 1-1.
Right.
I know we're already going to beat Porto. If Porto wanted to win, they had to at least score a goal away.
Yeah.
Not happening. So, like, if Barcelona win today or Man U win today, I'm okay with getting knocked out to either of those teams.
Well, I could be kicking myself in the rear end because I hope to see. I would love to see Barca win it so Messi can get one last. This may be his last ever. I also was trying to explain this to my wife because she doesn't understand the dynamics still of how the Champions League works. I'm saying this could be Messi's last. It probably is Messi's last Champions League because even if he did make it, the team as a whole would have to make it. And Barca is playing horrible. Now, you take Barca in La Liga.
Yeah.
They're playing good, quote unquote.
But it's a crappy league.
Exactly. And if you watch them play, did you see the game where they almost lost and they came back right near the end?
Where Messi got subbed on in the 80th minute. Yeah.
Listen, no disrespect to the Canaries. I think it was Villarreal. I think it was
Villarreal.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like they suck or this. They played amazing. I watched the game from literally beginning to end, and my jaw was on the floor of the work that they put in. They were 2-0 within 30 minutes.
It was 4-2.
Yeah.
And the game had only 4-4.
Game. But that should never happen to me. Not to me. For me, in my opinion.
Well, I don't feel like as a Barcelona team, you should be conceding 4 goals to Villarreal.
No.
Or how much was it against Sevilla? Every game, I feel like they concede.
Yep.
And like it's the back line that sucks the most. And against
defensively,
players, Lukaku, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, like that's not Baca from Villarreal.
No. And dude, it's about to get. And everyone knows the EPL is way more bloody than the La Liga. This isn't like they're going for blood, and they're home in Manchester. It's going to be lit. It's going to be on another. Even if they beat, they may walk. Well, Mourinho, Man U, I think Barca would have just walked all over.
Yeah.
With the new guy, not new, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm not familiar with his name, but I know he's been in the club forever. With the way he's been running that team has been fantastic, and we're about to see some fire.
But you also got to remember, Man U is also coming off of a couple losses.
True.
Wolves.
True. That was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yeah. So
that was their first loss, though. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was their first loss in like 8 games or something.
But that's a big game to lose to Wolves. And Wolves just got knocked out of the FA Cup to Watford.
I didn't watch that.
It was crazy. That game was crazy. Wolves were up 2-0, and then like with 70 at the 70th minute, Watford scored twice, and then in the 113th minute, Watford scored again.
I think I watched the highlights for that, but I didn't know. I don't watch the. It's funny. I was having some dialogue with someone who's from England, and the FA Cup is a big deal for them. They love that. He was saying to me that he actually enjoys the FA Cup just as much, if not equal, than the EPL. But from the States perspective, the FA Cup for me is hard because most of the teams I'm not even familiar with because it's not just EPL teams. They're lower division. Yeah. So it's hard for me to, and plus when you're watching like 4 or 5 leagues, what are your go-to leagues that you watch?
I watch the EPL, and then like if Barcelona's on, I'll watch, but I'm going to watch my team even.
Sure, like an EPL guy or bust?
Like we could be playing Fulham. Like they're already relegated. I'll still watch the game.
For Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch, like, there's big games, like, if Everton and Arsenal are playing, I'll watch. If Manchester United is playing, I'll watch. It's just, like, the games are fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because there's so many big clubs in the EPL. Like in La Liga, you have Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. That's pretty much it.
It's true.
But, like, every week, like, even Everton, they're sitting at 10th right now. Everton beat Arsenal, who were sitting at 3rd.
I know.
So, like, that's a good game, regardless of who's playing. I could be watching, like, just Watford and Wolves, FA Cup.
Just enjoying it.
2 small teams filled the entire Wembley Stadium up. Filled it.
I love that Wolves team.
Yeah.
Even from like a kid person, I always loved yellow teams when I was a kid. Like anything yellow, I loved. I love their logo. I love and they're like almost, they could have been, it's not going to happen now, but they could have been like a Leicester story. They came out of.
They were fighting for a European spot though.
Yeah.
So from a team that just came up, that's the one thing. Wolves, Leicester took a couple years before they won the Premier League. They were still in the Premier League. This is the first year Wolves have been in the Premier League in a while. So,
imagine how that feeling. God bless those boys out there hanging with these. But so I used to see Bundesliga has kind of just gone to hell competitively wise. Yeah. It's just like I used to enjoy La Liga was always my go-to because once again Messi and all the other greats that were in La Liga. And then I loved the Bundesliga there for a while with Dortmund back in the day. Yeah, a couple of years ago when Dortmund was on fire.
But they're neck and neck right now.
Yeah, I know.
Bayern, but they destroyed Dortmund this weekend.
They did. I watched that game. That was nuts. Yeah. And actually, I didn't watch it from beginning to end. Those are those games that I watch on highlight, and I go, oh, I got it. It was 5-0, I think. 5-1, 5-1.
6-1, 5-1, something
crazy.
Like that.
But, there's going to be a big change in Bayern soon with, not that it's that big of a deal, but Robin's been huge for them. They're going to be leaving. They're saying he's going to the MLS.
He's old.
Well, I know, but God bless him. I saw him in person play in the World Cup against Mexico and flop.
Yeah, I do remember that. 2014, I do remember that.
I would literally to see him flop in person was like, you dummy. But he's still got the skill, man. He can cut. He's got that cut.
Just cutting on his left foot, tight, striking it top
another level. He's got that. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to see. I think Barcelona's headed for a big, big deal because we have no defenders. I'm not one of these guys that hate PK like Juan. All these other guys are like, oh, damn. I think PK's done his job and has done it pretty well.
Yeah, he might not be the greatest defender, but he does what he's asked.
He does his job. And you have to think, he's been there forever.
Yeah. He used to play at Man U, by the way.
Back in the day. Yes, he did.
Yeah. He was there when Ronaldo was there.
Yep. And Rooney.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, those are back. But he's been like, that was like only a year or two, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't maybe it's just a season.
Yeah.
But he's been Barca through and through forever. He'll retire, obviously, Barca. He ain't going anywhere. Suarez is on his way out. Has to be, I would imagine.
He was much better at Liverpool.
That year.
I will say that.
I remember watching that season and when he got like 5-6 goals in that one match.
Against Norwich, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. But yeah, we got a lot of things going on in the in La Liga, and it's going to get Real Madrid is going to be a whole new team soon. I think Bale's got to go. Bale's got to go back to the EPL.
That's what I've been saying. I feel like he's going to go back to Manchester United or something.
Think so?
That. Yeah.
He's got to get back to the EPL. He's just either that or
I feel like he's too good for Real Madrid right now, but because of the players around him, he doesn't seem that good.
He's been horrible though. I've seen him like 2 or 3 one-on-ones recently. Dude, he chokes. And once again,
he has also come to Real Madrid's rescue a bunch of times.
Yeah, but when like I said, literally last game I was watching them, he was one-on-one with the keeper twice in the same game and choked. Now, this is coming from a defender. I don't belong up there. So I'm not saying I could have done anything different, but you're getting paid to do one job up there. He was literally one-on-one, had all the time, which I know is the hardest.
Yeah.
People think it's the easiest. Like, oh, it's like I hate being one-on-one with just a keeper because when it does happen to me, that's it. You're problem solving. Upper 90, lower, where you going here? And dude, he got worked twice. But I think he needs to go. Modric needs a hug. Poor Modric.
Yeah. He's been poor.
Well,
The
yeah,
whole
he needs
team
a,
has been poor.
he needs a hug, man. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Marcelo, he wants out.
He's going to Juve.
You think so?
Yeah.
He wants to be with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Do you think Buffon knew Ronaldo was coming before he left?
Probably. That was because Ronaldo said after the Champions League final that he was leaving. He said it in the interview. Him and Bale both said that they were leaving at the end after this. I remember that was crazy because we were sitting there because that was after they beat Liverpool, and like I'm just sitting there like sulking. And I'm just like, oh, because this sucks. And then we're listening to the interview, and Ronaldo just goes like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be at Real Madrid next season." I was like, what team are you going to other than Real Madrid? Like, what is there? But then you got to think about like Giants. Like, it was either between that or PSG.
PSG.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people that know me and they hear me talk about football, and then it comes into you hear about like PSG's this like no one really. That's another one. League One.
That
no
that
one
league
really
is so dumb. They're PSG already pretty much. They're 20 points ahead of the team in second.
Last year, Marseille was doing okay. I remember that though. Marseille for a hot minute was kind of.
Do you remember when Monaco won it like 2 years ago? Monaco's like 15th now.
Yep.
Like it's
I know.
like one-hit wonders.
I don't watch baseball, but I think like the PSG. Remember when the Yankees were just like unstoppable, unbeatable for a long time, and they had all the money in the world. Like that's PSG. PSG for the French league.
Yeah,
they can't. I mean, you're
we
talking.
Like to call it, Coach Stone and I, we call it the Farmers League.
Yeah,
because those guys suck. Like watching the French league is so boring.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand this, and as you get older, you'll start changing some of your vernacular. But it's like it doesn't suck. It's just the way it's where the money is. You know, they're not being. Think about imagine how much it must suck to be on Marseille or some of these teams, and you're walking into a stadium with Neymar, who's getting paid. I don't even, it's funny. We don't really know what they're making.
Yeah.
Like they announced
a ridiculous amount.
It's unbelievable. It like shadows pretty much every other sport. I think there's that one new MLB player that made headlines, and it was like, somehow, and it's like that's what a normal soccer player is making. Well, not normal, but that's what the elite, and that's across the board. But it's interesting. We're going to be. I just hope my goal is, and this is where we come full circle with everything, is that you got to keep the energy and the you got to keep it here. I will always do everything I can to help you, but it is weird. It's weird being a 30-0, bro, and knowing that my boots are coming off soon. It's sad. I'll always will play in my tournaments and my men's over 30, but when I'm having my Monday league and playing in an open, it's happening.
Soccer here was here. Now the only place that soccer is going down in Palm Coast is just down.
No,
it's not going up. Yeah, we're going to change it, but right now where it's going is just continue going. But I'll say the problem with that is there's not as many soccer players here in Palm Coast anymore. Because I remember I used to run the pickups, or when I even used to run my own pickups, we used to have 50 plus guys come out to this. Now sometimes I go, it's like AV8.
Yeah.
And then the club's a problem. I don't have a problem with club in general, but the clubs in the area are a problem.
Right. So
like there's guys, this is what I say, as a coach, coaching should not be a full-time job. I played club under some of the guys it was FC United, PDA, Florida.
That was that orange team, SC United?
FC United, yeah.
They're not here anymore.
No. So FC United became PDA, and I played for PDA. And then PDA got bought out by Flora Elite, and some of those guys that were coaches at PDA are still coaches at Flora Elite, but quit their regular jobs to become full-time coaches because that's how much money they're making. And at the end of the day, they're trash coaches. They just care about money. They don't care about making anybody better. They're just there to make money and live an easy life. Wow, I go to training 3 times a week. What do you do all day?
So, like, where's Dakota going? Because he's playing somewhere.
Dakota is playing for the PDL team or USL2 team. It's like a semi-pro team for Flora Elite.
Is that Ramtin approved?
I approve of it. I just don't approve of some of the players that they took. I'm not Dakota. Dakota can make any team. Dakota's so good,
unbelievable. But
the guy that runs Florida Elite, his son made it.
Well,
his son was born in 2003.
Okay, well, keep your integrity. Don't go too deep with it. But the point is, as long as he is on another. Dakota's
so good,
beautiful player.
Yeah, but that's what I'm also saying. Like Dakota is one of those players who's like, oh, we have to take him.
Yeah.
But there's other teams better in the area just don't know about Dakota.
Okay.
It's just that because Florida Elite's local, they're like, oh.
So
Dakota.
what could happen? What's a perfect story for a guy like Dakota who's young enough? Can he continue to excel and get placed on a on an MLS. Is he on track to play for an MLS team? Because I don't know the politics
on the route he takes. So playing for Fleur Elite USL, that's fine. But after this season, I feel like Dakota needs to go play on a team that's better.
Okay.
Like Nate
Which will happen.
Nate Monsanto's gonna be playing. There's a Daytona USL team, which I think is better than the Fleur Elite team. And so Dakota and Nate
Monsanto, two different leagues.
They're in the same league.
They're in the same league.
Daytona and Jacksonville.
Okay.
So I feel like from the players that I know that made the Fleur Elite team to the players that I actually went to the tryout for Daytona, I went to 2 of them that made the Daytona team. I feel like the Daytona players are better than the Fleur Elite players.
Interesting.
But that's just because the politics of soccer and who Fleur Elite took and because this guy plays for Fleur Elite, his parents are paying us money, we're going to take him. Daytona was just straight talent. They had guys from every single country you can think of coming out. Like, it was crazy. I didn't hear this. Like, Dakota tells me, he's after the first try, he's like, yeah, there was just a bunch of club players and old guys at the first try. I was like, that's crazy. I went to the Daytona tryout. Everyone was D1 college soccer player, D2 college soccer player, or a soccer player in the area, or played pro here and there. Like, they were insane. And like, the coaches from the Daytona team are like from like Germany and like coached professional teams in Germany. Like, it's just like the difference,
right?
Because there's Daytona Soccer Club is what's in the name of it, isn't part of a club team. Fleur Elite is part of a club team. So obviously you're gonna have to satisfy some of your players who play club and pay you money. Oh, we're gonna take you because you play for Fleur Elite already.
Right.
Daytona is like, I don't care, we just want to win. So we're gonna take the best players.
So do you have the potential, if you continue to evolve, that you can make a club team that competes in that same league here? Or is that not fathomable?
Actually, I don't know if you've seen Palm Coast they're bringing a semi-pro team to Palm Coast.
I didn't see.
There's a bunch of guys that working behind the scenes. I don't know how they did this. Palm Coast is not that big. To make a semi-pro team come to Palm Coast, and apparently this was like announce a coach at the end of this month. It's called Royal Palm Soccer Club. Okay. And they're going to be competing in a league higher than Fleur Elite and Daytona. Yeah.
When are they having tryouts, etc.?
Yeah.
You going for it?
Yeah, and they actually already they interviewed me. There's an article coming out soon. Like, that's something that we need to bring soccer back up.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You got to change your mindset. Exactly. You're like, soccer's going down. It's not. We're going to change it.
Exactly.
Good.
But until stuff like that actually happens, it's going to continue to go down.
Well, like I said, you have to understand this, and I've learned this the hard way, man. There's not everyone. When I was what are you, 20 now?
20.
When I was 20 years old, I was so frustrated with myself, and you'll grow too. I was so frustrated myself from a business perspective. Soccer was always important, but it wasn't something I ever thought could be, I could live off of it as teaching it in this. But here's my point. I don't want you to have that mindset, but my point is, I used to think when I was 18, 19, 20 and just getting out of high school that like everybody needs to be an entrepreneur and like everybody, because that's what I was pursuing. Not everyone wants it and not everyone needs it. So what you need to do is be that. And here's my thing. And this pertains to this too, man. Like I've learned this as I've gotten older too. And this pertains to even soccer. This pertains to life in general. But there's a saying that I say a lot to people, and that is, tell me about your God without speaking, right? Yeah. That means by living by example. What you're probably going through right now, the frustrations and your woes of how you feel about it are good, but use that as a way of make something attractive. Like if I was around your age, give me something to want to be like. And I'm not saying you're not, but think about that. Think about the book that you're writing, whether it's beyond just because, well, to you and I, soccer is life. But think about the book that you're writing right now as it's going to help the next guy. You're not going to find. You ever heard the term "it's lonely at the top"? Yeah, it really is, man. There's not a lot of people that are going to care. But here's what ends up happening. So now I'm in my 30-nothings. What people are now starting to do is say, "Hey, how did you have that time off today to watch the Barca game?" I go, "Oh, well, now that you asked, I've been working, 20-hour days since I was 15. And this is what I did. And this is that." So make what you're working on and make what you're striving for, Ramtin, something that's attractive. And it will happen by consequence of you doing it. And you have those variables. And don't change. Yeah. Evolve. And I'm proud of you. Like I said, I hear what you're saying, and I know where to put them, because I'm not young and I don't fight fire with fire. So imagine if I was around your age and I was like, yeah, soccer, we can change it. We have hope in humanity.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. So like the 11v11 team, kids can't afford club here.
Right.
And the guys that were playing for Floor Elite got fed up and just decided, oh, I'm going to come play 7v7, which is what the high school players play. And then now we're offering them 11v11, $130. And we even let them pay payments. So $45 a month for 3 months. Like $130 to play full-on 11v11 against club teams that any other club would play. Jacksonville Armada, Stetson, Ormond Beach, Orlando City. All these clubs that we get to play for $130. And at the end of the day, the only thing that I care, because I don't make a single penny from the 11v11 team. The only thing I get paid for is coaching at FPC. It's the only coaching I get paid for. I don't get paid for 7v7. I don't get paid for running anything part of the 11v11. I don't get paid for anything. Just because I care about making players better and making them care about soccer more. So the 11v11, those kids are like, we lost the first game 7-1. So that's a wake-up call. Look, this club team's been playing forever. Let's fix it. The next game we won 6-0.
Good.
That means you've now seen improvement in 2 weeks.
Right.
Club teams, like I remember I used to play and we would lose like 4-0, 5-0, 6 weeks in a row. So what are we doing to fix that? So now you just gotta realize that's the good thing about playing club though, because I played club since I was 7. You gotta learn from the bad coaches and you gotta also learn from the good coaches. And you take what you learned and use it the way you want to, and you gotta add some things of your own. So like some of the drills I do is exactly some of the drills that I used to do in club. But then you got to make modifications. You got to see if I didn't agree with something, I would fix it. Or it'd be the way a coach approaches a player. Like the good thing I like about Coach Stone, he's so close with his players. And that's what you need as a coach. Like if you watch Liverpool, Klopp, he's giving his players hugs and stuff. Like we're so close with our players. Like we know what's going on in their lives. We know what their grades are. We're always checking. If you get close with a player, that player knows that you care about them, and that will help you start making them a better soccer player. So like the only problem with players in Palm Coast is like I'm coaching some of these players in JV. I'm like, I'll put film. We'll sit down in the library and watch film. And some of these guys have never even watched a single soccer game, but are so good at soccer. But could be even better if they could watch from someone that's better than them. But I just don't understand how you can.
Well, there you go again. So so you bring up a point. So think about and like I said, if you continue in the path you're on now, you're going to be 10 times ahead of the average person because you are young and you're like powerful young because you're tenacious and young. A lot of people, I didn't stop being angry at the world. I'm not saying you're angry, but I didn't stop thinking the world owed me something until I was probably about 25. So if you figure this out now, you're going to have not only peace, because here's the thing about life that I've learned now. Peace is the most precious commodity, right? So like these little things that are kind of nagging at you, they're good. Let them nag at you. But now you're time to lead by the example. So here, I had someone say this to me the other day, which was really, really, I literally thank the God that I serve, because someone took me aside the other day. I was walking the Flagler Beach Pier. Someone took me aside of a fellow footballer, and he's like, dude, every team that you're on, I want to be on. Like, you know what an honor that was? And he was like, every team you're on is like, you bring this fire, you bring this passion, and like, we might not win every game, even though I have been blessed, and not just my Monday leagues, but almost every team that I've always been on, I'm fighting for gold, baby. Like I'm not on there to make friends. Yeah. We're out there, and you know what I'm talking about. Once the whistle blows, as soon as that whistle blows off the pitch, I'm everyone's friend. But once that whistle blows, we're going to war, and you know what I bring, and you know that passion and that fire. But here's the thing: if you figure this out now, not only in football, but if you figure this out in life, don't. So, for instance, these guys, right? You think to yourself, you've just megged the whole team, and you've never seen that on a film. Like you just made.
That's what I find crazy. Like some of these kids at their age, like 14 years old, are so good. Like, have you ever watched a soccer game before? Like, no. I went to like an Orlando City game one time. Like, that's crazy. So like, you just gotta fix that. You gotta start showing people more film. Like, so what I would do is JV before every game. JV games were at 5:30. For every game, you would come into a room at 3:00, and I would always have a game on. Either it was an FA Cup game or an EPL game. Right. And these kids actually, and sometimes I'd be like, no phones. You gotta turn in your phones. Some of these kids, they'll go on their laptops. You actually have to sit there and watch. Right. And then you also have to show them their own game film. Be like, look, you can learn from this. You can learn from that. And then you got to compare their game film to a professional game. Like, look what they do that you could do. Right. Some of these kids, like, they just learn from just playing pickup. Right. but you also got to learn from other people. So like when I started coaching when I was 15, and you had Wilson on there. I coached his son.
Did you really?
That was one of the first, like when I first coached like my own team, I was like 15 and 16, and his son was on my team. And his son is so good. It's just he just doesn't have the height. He's I'm pretty sure he's shorter than 5 foot, and he's like 15, 16 years old now.
He could be a little Shaqiri.
Yeah. But this kid, the thing I like about this kid is he wasn't very good when he started playing for me, but now this kid's amazing. He does like rainbows around players, like Megs players. And the only reason I feel like he does that is because he's watching professional soccer all the time. And he's like, oh, look at that guy. I'm going to do exactly what he did.
Right.
I know he sports Atletico Madrid. He always texts me talking about soccer. That's because he never watched soccer when he played for me. He realized that, I need to watch soccer. And then he started trying things that I've never seen a kid his age or size ever do. Like I remember he was playing a rec game, and his dad was the coach. And I was reffing, and this kid out of nowhere rainbows the kid. I was like, I've never seen that at the rec level ever. And that's what blows my mind. Like things like that. But if you don't ever watch soccer, I don't feel like you're ever going to go anywhere.
Well, once again, you have to understand this. My father taught me this. Yeah. You're so young to where you got to give, and this applies to life, mercy, and let people grow. And here's the thing, man, attractiveness attracts people, and not just on the eyes.
Yeah.
Be the person that you want your team to be the person you want your friends to be, and not because you want to change them, but you surround yourself by people you want to be like. And I'm telling you this, it's so surreal talking with you because you're one of the few guys at your age that are at least sharing. It's very vulnerable what you're doing. You're sharing your hot thoughts and opinions. And trust me, there are a lot of people that probably like, this guy you're not making any sense to them. But that's because they have their own mindset. So my point is, keep being what you want. Once again, look at me as a footballer. And once that whistle blows, and you've played with me. Have I ever asked you to do something that I'm not doing?
No.
Have I ever said to be something that I'm not?
Yeah.
So,
but that's the good thing about like obviously I'm not going to force anybody to watch soccer.
No, right.
But when when we're on the field and we're practicing, I'll never make them do something that I can't do.
Right.
So that's so then they're like, oh, he's being realistic. So if a kid, JV, obviously they're going to learn. The whole point of JV is to develop a player to make them go to varsity. That's the whole point of it. I'm not going to make them do these crazy drills that some of these, I've seen some JV coaches run these crazy drills and it just looks horrible. Because obviously their kids aren't at that level yet. You got to be realistic. You got to see where your players. So what I do when the season starts, I've done this 2 years now. I do this thing where I make them do simple things for the first day. Like I want to see you pass the ball. I want to see you dribble. So I can actually see where every single player stands at some point. So then 2 days later, I pull them all one by one. I just let them play. I pull them all one by one. I write down. I'm like, this is where you stand. This is what you need to work on. Right now, you're starting, substitute, impact sub, or bench. And I tell them, and I write down what they need to work on. So I'm being completely open, and there's no wall in between. I'm telling you what you need to work on. So you have 3 or 4 months to work on this. So I had players who, at the beginning of the season, sat on the bench 3 games in a row, maybe saw like 10 minutes, and ended up starting at the end of the season because they listened to what I told them.
Right. And
that's the good thing about kids now. They're not as talented, but they want to learn. Like I coach girls too, and the girls, like the one thing I noticed between girls and boys, girls want to learn 10 times more than boys. The boys are like, oh, I've been playing soccer my whole life. I don't need to learn anything. But girls like always asking questions. That's the good thing about my JV team. I've made them all want to learn. Like, there's like just like teaching. Like, there's visual learners. There's like people who learn better by listening. Like before every game, either I have my board or I have the cones on. And I show everybody, but then I pull players aside and I'm trying to talk to them like, can you show me? So I write it down on a board or put out the cones because some kids learn differently.
Right.
But the fact that people are asking me questions and people come up to me after the games, what can I learn? What can I do better? I want to start. What can I work on? Like, that's the good thing. Like before when I played, no one ever asked those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
That's because everyone was so talented. Now the talent's not there, but the kids want to get that talented. So now they're asking questions. More kids are going to pick up now, which is good. I had 40 plus kids in 7v7. That's crazy. Like, I remember we used to have, when the rec league, we used to have something like 7v7. There was like 6 players on every team.
What's up with Chad? Troy's brother.
Um,
You know who I'm talking about? He wears a Hazard jersey all the time when he comes to pick up. He doesn't come much unless his brother's home. But you remember Troy, my defender?
yeah.
His brother, Chad, he's got blonde, curly
How
hair.
How old is his brother?
I'd say 14, 15.
I knew who his brother is. I've never seen him play a pickup.
I wanted to pick him up. I didn't know how long. I'm not good with like ages and sizes. And I had text Troy because Troy's coming back.
Yeah.
So I was like, Troy, how old's your brother? And he was like 15. I was like, damn. But dude, that is tough. So here's the thing too. You got to start realizing that maybe there is talent, but it's not being nurtured. You got to understand that. I'm not saying
every player has something that like I say, everyone brings something different to the table.
Right.
Like I have a player, like I had a baseball player that I had decided he wanted to play soccer. And this kid ended up with the most assists because I realized that he can take this guy can throw. So
we had him throwing the ball.
He knew how to throw a ball in. So anytime we got close to the 18-yard box, I'd be like, chuck that ball into the box.
Right.
6 assists he played only 9 games because he ended up getting surgery. He played 9 games, 6 assists, almost all off throwing.
Just like throwing the box in the 18.
Just because I told him because he almost threw it like he was taking a corner.
Wow.
And like we would score headers, the rebound would come back and he'll put it and we would score off of it. And I realized I was like, dude,
you can use something here.
And this kid is just an athlete. He plays football, he's a wrestler, he plays baseball, he runs track. This just guy's an athlete. So next year when he's on varsity, this kid, no one's gonna get past this kid because he may not be I put him at right back. He's not a defender, but he knows how to.
Right.
He's fast.
He can hug the line.
What?
He can hug the line.
Yeah. He's so good. I felt like for someone that had never played soccer before, like that was crazy.
Yeah, but so you see,
like
you're finding and not everyone. Think about how many players we know out there, and I've been out here way longer than you, but you'll be at my point when. There's so many guys that maybe not even natural. I wasn't really a natural born footballer, man. I really wasn't. I still not. I'm not as fluid, and it's not, some guys just ice skate around, man, no matter what. I don't have the mechanics that I had to fight so hard to find not only my position, but to find where I fit in a beautiful game of football. So if you see someone like we're not going to name names in a public forum, but there are names out there of people that they'll tell you like, hey man, I have no idea. I have a lot of guys that I run into here and they're like, dude, I've never played, but I want to be a part of it. I want to do it for the exercise factor.
Yeah. Come out.
And it's happening. Dude, I had a guy run into the Oceanside the other day, close to 50 some odd years old, and said, listen, I played my whole life. I haven't probably touched the ball in 20. Can I come? I said 110%. Dude, shout out to guys like Carlisle. Are you kidding me?
That's like,
for those that don't know,
there's guys that I know that can't do some of the things that he does.
60 some odd years old.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he's frustrating because he's stepping on you a lot and he's frustrating when you're playing against him. But as far as 60 some odd years old and this Jamaican beautiful man,
the goal is to be like that.
Right.
In the future.
And imagine what he must go to bed at night feeling. I put a full game in.
But you realize like Carlisle must have been amazing when he was younger.
If he's that good now, going home with a goal or two, an assist. Now, granted, yes, is he just is he playing real football anymore? Like he's hanging out, cherry picking, etc. But he's getting the ball. He's doing his job as a forward. He's disrupting play.
I remember when my first year of playing adult league, when I was playing on Scotty's team. I remember we played his team. He scored like 3 or 4 goals, and I was like sitting there. I was like, how? Like, how are we letting this happen? But then you realize, then you start playing pickup with him. Like, this is how, because he knows how to. He's a finisher. Like, he loves scoring. So,
and he understands the game, and that's the thing. And I agree with you where it's got to be. It is frustrating. And now I don't have it too much on my own squad. But are you kidding? You know what it's like to be at. Now I haven't done pickup in a while because I'm playing twice a week.
Monday,
competitively,
Wednesday,
so I can't play. I'm these bones, man. So I'm down to twice a week, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays I make sure that it's being facilitated. But I mean, man, how many times do we go out to pick up and there was a guy out there that he's wearing tennis shoes and has never touched the ball, and it's frustrating. But then there's still a beauty to the fact that he wants to try and he wants to play, and that's what as you get older, let those two things pertain to not only your football life and your career in that perspective, but remember. Everyone's, my heart goes out to you kids, man. And I say not to sound like a jerk, but you kids, but like you younger generations, dude, your dating world, your professional world, dude, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. You remember, like, I remember growing up, like, it was different. It's, you don't understand, dad or mom. Like, it really wasn't that different for us. Like, the internet was just kind of coming out, and like, it really wasn't that different from my parents to my parents. Where you're at compared to where I'm at 20, bro, it takes 10 times the sacrifice to be good at something. You are,
but now we have like more opportunities to get good at something, but we don't use them. That's the problem,
right?
Like, so like the one thing, like we may have talent, but the one thing is, like in soccer, you have soccer talent, and then you have soccer IQ. If someone's talented but doesn't have a soccer IQ, they're never going to be a good enough soccer player, because those, like Dakota, talented, soccer IQ, has all of it. Dakota can make a blind pass from one side of the field to the other without no one even noticing someone's making a run behind them, because he has both of those. It's like, as a coach, I like make my team take soccer IQ tests. We sometimes, like, they'll go out to the field, put the balls away, and I'll go and I'll walk around and I'll be like, all right, so the ball's over here, where should everybody move to? And I'll make them move themselves around. And that's what you need to start teaching kids. Like, that's the only problem with, like, even in school, like, every kid has a laptop now, but are kids actually doing the work on the laptop?
Right. Well, that's, like I said, it's going to come. That's why I tip my hat off to guys like you and the people that I know I'm associated with the younger demographic, man. You know how hard it must be to not be on a ridiculous website when I personally probably could not have made it through high school with a laptop, personally, because I would have been playing video games,
distracted and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So I give so much more credit to someone that can make it through the dating game, make it through a professional career right now at your age, and because it takes 10 times more the mental capacity to hold yourself responsible. So remember, and once again, the silver lining of today's discussion for you, out of love, is you got to start realizing that not everyone is ready. Not everyone's where you're at. And no joke, man, if you value me even this much on the pitch, I'm nowhere near where I was now than I was when I was 20. You would have probably hated me when I was 20 if I was your age, because football wasn't my lifestyle.
Yeah.
For you, there's a lot of people that still like to play it, but Ramtin, they probably got, who knows what's going on in life.
Exactly.
You know, like, this is your life. We're talking about football. You're coaching football. We're going to go watch one of the most beautiful games at 3:00, which, by the way, we've got to get ready.
Yeah.
That's our life. But there's a lot of people I've noticed, and dude, I can name them, that some may be on my team, some may, but they can't. It's not, they don't have that capability, whether it's because of a family member who may be ill or this. So remember, and I had to learn this the hard way. My father taught me, give time for people to grow. Give them the tools.
That's why soccer is going down, but over time, people like me and you can make it grow. But like, you just also got to kind of make sure that people don't follow the wrong people.
Right.
So like in club, people are following the wrong people because they're
okay.
selling these guys false information, or they're playing for a coach that's not as good as someone else, or
here's what will be interesting.
Have the facilities that
here's what will be interesting for you. I look back, and you haven't asked me this question because it hasn't happened to you yet, but I have a lot of. You know how many people that went from the ages of 18 to, let's just say, 25, that, let's just say, wronged me, whether they owed me $5 or they told me to F off, that now have turned into clients, now that have turned into people that want to play soccer, people that basically the point is you never know what's going to, and especially if you stay here. And the only thing that's now from a business perspective, which turns into life, I tell people now, I'm going to I will be here this time next year. This is my home.
Yeah.
Don't let it, just keep leading. Just keep leading, man, because what's going to happen is, and it's good. You know what? I have people say to me, they go, there's another interneter in town. Aren't you upset? Like, they're going after your clients. Yeah. Bro, that's great. It's okay to have
competition
diversity.
Is good.
But if you are fighting to be the best, then I promise you they'll be back. So you keep doing what you're doing.
That's the one thing, like, I hate when people say, oh, Palm Coast is boring. What? Like, make it fun.
Well, you're in that age group.
Or when people go, well, like, I've had people make fun of me. They're like, oh, you're just going to be a coach for the rest of your, you're going to live in Palm Coast for the rest of your life. I'm like, yeah, because I want to make Palm Coast soccer better. That's my goal. That's Coach Stone's goal. That's everyone who works currently in the soccer area that doesn't coach at a big club or doesn't play professionally. Like everyone who coaches soccer at a small area, like a high school level, or they care about making soccer players better. Like the coaches in Matanzas, they are doing exactly the same thing Coach Stone and I are doing because they want to make their players better.
Do you want to know, when I was growing up, there was 2 terms: Flagler scumbags. That was it. People were like, "I don't want to be a Flagler scumbag." This you have to say. This is back in high school days. And then Palm Coast was a joke, and I was in that bandwagon. I was like, "Screw this town! I want it." Do you know that now I'm in my 30-nothings? Do you know how many people are coming back?
Because when I moved, Palm Coast is at 85,000 people in it now. It was so small when I moved here.
Don't question that you are. Yeah. But they all. What happens is when you start to get older. And it's good to leave. It is good to experience life. Yeah. Go get out of 3-2-1, 3-7, and 3-6, and go. 3-6, go. It's good to grow and good to travel. But if one thing that you'll be looking for as you get older is safety, sustainability. Yeah. Maybe work is a little tough around here, but that's okay if you figure something out. But point is, we live in your parents. What was your back history? Did you grow like?
I grew up in Virginia.
Okay.
So like that's why I say like I came from Virginia. There was nothing really to do in Virginia where I lived. Like we had.
How old were you when you moved here?
15.
Oh, so you were fresh.
I moved here halfway through my freshman year.
Freshman.
So.
And you went to FPC?
FPC. So like I moved here and I was like I hated the idea that I was moving here. I did not want to move. I almost killed my parents for that. Like I was so mad. But then now, like, I look at some of the stuff, like the opportunities I have, like, I went to college.
Was it hard for you to find your rhythm, or were you accepted?
This is the one thing. People in Florida are nicer than people in Virginia. That's because the income's not as high. People are more humble because of where we live.
Right.
Like, it was just like, the first year I didn't like it. When I was finishing my freshman year, I didn't like it. Then over the summer, I got introduced to the soccer guys, and I was like, you know what? This can actually work. Played 3 years of varsity soccer and then graduated, played a year at Daytona State College, then got a job at FPC. I'm still going to college. I'm an education major. So now I know that when I graduate from Daytona State, I'm going to be –
but it's okay.
All good. I'm going to be teaching at FPC or teaching at a high school in the area and coaching soccer. Like I have a plan set. Like these guys like who say Palm Coast is boring, most of them are still in high school. Right. Like you don't realize that the best job for you could still be in Palm Coast. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah. And that's okay. And that's normal. Everybody, like I said, when I was around that age, that's normal psychology for someone to not want to be where they're having to be. Like, and it's okay. But I really am, man. I'm super proud of you. And I want you to always, you've got to remember this is just always be, it's just at the end of the day, it's going to be you. Done. It's just going to be you, and whatever God you serve is going to be all you've got. So what I want you to always pursue, which I've watched you from afar for many moons now, man. Keep chugging along and be the person you want once again, your friends, your family. And once again, take that the right way. It's not about making people want to be like you, but the characteristics, this should be of value. Run it through your business, run it through your relationship. And you watch, I used to be so mad at people where I'm like, why are you not starting a business? Once again, I'm related to soccer. So I'm like, why? And I had a lot of, and do something else, which you probably sound like you are. Surround yourself by people that you can learn from.
Exactly.
The show's going on.
That's the one thing I say about coaching. As a coach, you're always learning. You never stop learning as a coach. But then you also have to hold like certain values. Like I remember first week of the season, I made players sit down. I was like, you need to write your 4 sections, fold a piece of paper up in 4 sections: soccer goals, school goals, personal life goals, and then team goals. But the team goals had only one thing, and it said family.
Yep.
So if you can bring people together in a sport, you can do that anywhere. I remember I had kids that hated each other, could never play soccer. Now they're best friends.
Yep.
Because you can do that with a sport. And that's the one thing about coaching is if you can make someone better as a person and a soccer player, and you can smile off of that, that's all you need.
And that's the universal language of the world, man.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere. You don't have to speak the language, and you're connecting at a level that's very sincere. You're looking for you're trying to accomplish a goal, you're problem solving, and you're doing it together. Yeah. But I really am. So let's do this. I'm going to put all the links into the bio. You've got what's the name of it again? It's not Flagler. It's
just the Flagler. There's the academy link on the Flagler Soccer.
Okay. And I'm very proud of you. Keep pushing that. And right now, if somebody wants to get involved, what are the age groups? It's
Well, the 77 is high school.
okay.
So if any high schooler wants to join, I don't care. Girls, boys, never played soccer before, played professional soccer, doesn't come and play.
So that's high school.
Then the 11
What day
11
is that?
high school. That's Monday. It's right before the adult league, actually.
Okay.
Monday. Then
I love that you guys have the team names too, like Chelsea, Liverpool.
We actually, all the team names are based on all the teams that Salah played for: Fiorentina, Roma, Chelsea, Liverpool.
I love it. So that's Mondays.
And then the 11 are the best 18 selected from 77 to play in 11. And then Flagler Soccer Academy, which is like personal training, like what Eddie Johnson does, just for kids in the area. And that's on the Flagler Soccer website. And then
is that one-on-one you're doing that?
That's
people can hire
and group sessions.
So people can that's all a la carte stuff.
Yeah.
That's not a specific day.
That's whenever someone wants to set up a session. And then in the future, it's trying to get younger kids in. That's the future goal right now.
Awesome.
Because at the end of the day, Coach Stone and I, we run it. We run the coaching part. We don't make a single penny. Right. But we want to make players better. So.
Well, I'm going to do everything I can do to help spread the message. You know, I'm always here too, to help you out, and I will always be. I'll play as long as I can. But once I hang up those boots, I'll be probably right by your side doing more of the coaching and the helping. Because as of right now, after I'm done playing, it's already 2 days a week. But once I stop, which is another handful of years, I hope, then I'll be right by your side. But I'm very proud of you, and I think we did good. We got to watch this game.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming.